and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the top sports stories happening this past week. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I am ready to go. Eric, you know what? I woke up this morning and I was like waiting for the details for the show from you. But it was 6:30 when I woke up, and I'm so anxious to talk about what's going on that I couldn't sleep. And
yeah,
it's just massive this
Holy
week.
Sports Week. This sports week, it was tough to even come up with a leadoff story because I was just like, it could be
What
4
do
or 5
you
of them.
use?
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So, Ron, I want to ask you a question before we get into anything. Let me ask you a question. So I played 18 holes yesterday. So
I haven't played in a long time.
I'm playing. We get to the 18th, me and my buddy, and I slice a ball pretty good.
Oh, you're talking golf, not mini golf.
Yeah, not mini golf, real golf. And I slice a ball pretty good. And I hear a big bang. I'm like, oh, I hit something. There with the house, you know what I mean? The clubhouse is right there. So I'm like, I probably hit the clubhouse, right? So I get up to it's like a hill. You go up, and then all of a sudden the guy's like, you hit my truck. Now, mind you, he's parked on the golf club, on the golf course. Demoved by him to even question it? Like, you're clearly parked in a spot that you should have never been in, where obviously golf balls can hit you. So the fact that he even thought it was necessary to bring it to my attention, like I was going to do anything, I found pretty funny. I mean, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, he is a D-bag.
Right.
In fact, what I would do is probably take another shot and slice it towards his truck again.
I couldn't because he was parked by where the greens. He was by the green. Like I couldn't. I didn't even know what I hit because it was trees. He was parked. I don't know. Whatever. I just found it funny. I'm like, right? Like, why would you even mention it? If you park there, you have to basically take responsibility for whatever happens. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, he can't do anything about it. As if you're going to pay for whatever damage you did. Yeah. No.
Well, I ignored him and I just kept going. But I just found
that's a hazard of being on a golf course.
Right? Like you would think automatically he would understand that. But I just found it funny. He felt the need to say something. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's just a jackass.
I don't know. These people. All right, Ron. Well, thank you for taking my side on that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. You know, like I said, I know I would take another shot at the truck.
Yeah, I would have looked.
You're going to be out on the green. I'm hitting the truck.
But I think it would have been intentional because I would have had to go back down a hill, back up a hill.
I would have done it. I would have went. Would not even have hesitated.
We're going to have to
come up to me. If you don't say anything, I'm apologizing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't know you were there. Blah, blah, blah. It's still your fault. Blah, blah, blah. You know? But as soon as he says something, I will look at him, and then I would trot my ass back down to the tee and take another shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Next time.
Round 2.
Next time I'll take you, Ron. How's that? Maybe we'll get you to hit a guy's truck. All right, Ron, let's get ready to kick this bad boy off tonight. And let's start off with our leadoff story, and that's the NBA Finals. So the NBA Finals kicked off last night with the Indiana Pacers taking Game 1. Your thoughts on this series? That's the shot right there. 0.3 seconds left.
You know, I thought OKC would probably either roll or give up a game or two, but still have total control of this series. Now, I watched that game from start to finish. The Pacers did not play well in that game, especially in that first half with 19 turnovers,
Yeah.
finishing with 24
25. Yep.
or 25.
Yep.
Now, OKC only got 11 points off of that. Now, as bad as Indiana played, and they still managed to win that game, that is scary if you're an OKC fan.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Again, you get out rebounded 56-39. That's a concern. Shoot 39.8% from the field and then 36.7 from three. OKC needs to make sure that A, they shoot better. B, you just given life to the Pacers because here's a team that we know feeds off of this kind of momentum now. They did it with the Knicks. They did it with the Cavs. They won these close games late and ended up taking control of the series. If I'm an OKC fan right now, I'm nervous.
I am too.
I didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah. Look, like I said, they played really bad, especially that first half. And just giving the ball away, but still playing such great defense that they stayed in it the whole way. And you're down 9 with 3 minutes left in the game. And you have no business really winning that game.
Listen, and Halliburton didn't play his best game.
But didn't you feel it, with 5, 6, 7 minutes left, and you're like, oh my God, it's gonna come down to a shot.
It kept coming down to 4 or 5 points. You're like, all right, they made their run, but then OKC seemed to make a basket. And I'm like, there's no way. And it was just all of a sudden you're like, it's a 1-point game. And I'm like, this is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That timeout or that challenge on the out of bounds play, and OKC still got the ball because it was off of Siakam, and yet somehow Indiana still with that was 22 seconds left, and I'm like, okay, this game's over. This game's over.
Yeah.
SGA, we talk about him being the MVP. That was a clutch opportunity for him to put his team up by 3 to possibly win that game.
And he was pretty open too. The defender was a good 10 feet away at least, and he had an open shot. He took the shot, and it was too strong.
Yeah.
And it just kind of clanked.
It's funny because the more I keep thinking about this, and I hate to use this term, but it happens in sports sometimes. You talk about a team of destiny. And I always think about 2001, the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl. We had just gone through 9/11. And you sit back and you know that speech by Robert Kraft that we're all patriots today, right? It was just fitting with everything that happened in the country, right? The red, white, and blue, right? Everything. And I'm looking at this Pacer team, and everybody talked about Tyrese Halliburton being overrated.
I don't know where that's coming from.
But that was the players voted that. And then you start to sit back and you look at it who's their star? They don't have a star. Siakam's not a star. He's a good player, right? Miles Turner, good player. But there's no superstars. And then they went up against the Cavs, who had the best record in the East, and beat them. They go up and they go to New York and they beat them, who had, we would say, better talent. Let's just be realistic about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They go into game 1. And you face the MVP of the league, and you beat them. It just feel like no matter what you put in front of this team right now, they are just on a path to a championship. And I don't know what will derail them.
Yeah, I mean, when you look on paper, they should not be able to beat OKC. But here we are talking about it. And that is probably the biggest surprise of the week. I mean, to have this much going on in sports, and then the talk is all about what the Indiana Pacers are doing. It is absolutely mind-boggling when you look at everything, any stat really dictates OKC should win this. But Indiana's up 1-0. Now, it is only one game.
100%.
But like I said, they played horrible for like 75% of this game. Maybe more than 75%.
You're right.
Right. I'm not going to be surprised if Indiana goes back, on Sunday and takes care of business again. I'm not going to be surprised because Halliburton, to me, showed he belongs in the conversation of a superstar.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. So, Ron, we're going to predict game 2, but your thought, who wins this series and why?
From what I saw in the first game, I'm still going to say OKC because I think they can bounce back. The problem I have, I cannot go up against this Indiana Pacer team. I can't at this point. I mean, I've been wrong on many occasions, of course. Yeah, I know. Go figure.
What?
But
Never.
It is that look. It's the same thing with Florida Panthers. How every year when they play the Bruins, I'm going to say, okay, the Bruins are going to win this year. They're not going to let it happen again.
Best record ever in NHL history, still lose to, right? Like it's one of those things. And
so I don't want to pick against the Pacers because of that reason. It's just one of those years where the ball bounces right, and we all remember that shot.
That one in New York, like thing should have never went in. It should have never went in, and it did. I'm telling you, team of destiny. So one of these teams is going to obviously win the championship, and it's supposed to be the first. This thing drove me crazy the other day when I heard this. It should be the first in both franchises, but they're trying to throw in the fact that the Seattle Supersonics originally won one. I don't count the Oklahoma City Thunder as the Seattle Supersonics. I just can't do it. In my mind, one of these teams will win their first championship.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Now, I know, the team moved, but to me, it is not the Seattle Supersonics.
It's like the Baltimore Ravens. If the Colts win, they like, oh, we were in Baltimore. We get a piece. Like, what is that? Listen, teams move. They're talking about making an expansion team in Seattle. So then what happens? Like, you can't conclude the Sonics with the Thunder.
Correct. I don't include it.
One of these teams win it. I seem to agree with you, Ron. I think it's OKC. I just think they figure it out. And I feel like the horseshoe is at some point you keep thinking of it, like there's no way. But you're very hesitant to just sit back and say, okay, don't say the Pacers, because I still think they could do it.
Right. This is one series that I can't wrap my head around, what the results are after the first game. It makes me hesitant to pick OKC, but yet on paper, it should be OKC.
Yeah. And I will say this is the best thing for the NBA. If they can get a series where it's going to be like this every game, tight, close, it's drama, this is the best possible thing for them, because this is going to be able to showcase two young superstars. But on top of that, it's going to gain interest because now this is probably a 6-7 game series.
This is not the series they wanted. I'm sorry. You've got OKC and Indiana, both small markets. They wanted the Knicks in there.
Oh yeah, 100%. But again, you get a tight series that goes 7. It's back and forth. Right. That bodes well because people get interested in the game 5, 6, 7 now because of that.
Yeah. I just worry about, the NBA might take a hit on this one because I don't know if the ratings will be as good as it should be. You're going to get a great series because I think if New York played against OKC, the series would be over in 1. I truly believe it. It would be over in 1.
They're two fun teams. They're fast. They move. They're
Right.
up and down the court, but they both can play defense too. So it's a fun series. Two fun teams. NBA got lucky on that part of it. It's not like something. And I think if one team dominated, like if yesterday's game was a 15-point, 20-point blowout, that would have been devastating for the NBA.
Yeah.
The fact that it went down to the wire, Halliburton now is like everybody's waiting for the next big shot.
Yeah.
So you want to see game 2 now. You want to see if they can duplicate what happened or, something. When they're down now, you got to say this too, Ron. A lot of times people shut the games off. It's over. They're out by 20 with, 10 minutes left in the game. This time, you want to stick around now because you're like, wait a minute. Can they do it again? Can they do it again?
And the question now is, do they even need to do it again? That's the question. Because this team has some players that have tended to step up and have a big game. Siakam, Turner, these guys can all have a good game. And what happens if Indiana wins this series? What is that gonna say about the league and the direction it goes to then? Because then you got a guy, Halliburton, if they win and he doesn't get the most points on the team for the rest of the series, he's gonna win the MVP for the series just based on that shot. If they win, he's gonna go down in history because of that shot. You're going to want guys that can put the shot in the playoffs crunch time. And so when you got a guy that gets voted as Mr. Clutch.
Who lost to this guy
because of his clutch shots.
Yep.
I don't care if you do it during the regular season. I don't care. Show me what you got in the postseason.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun series. I agree with you. I still go OKC, but I'm on the fence, man. There's a fence there.
Yeah, like I said, I'm afraid of picking OKC.
I would say this, Ron. If I could literally walk on the fence, I would just keep walking. I wouldn't even pick a side. I would just walk right on the fence because I really don't. I don't know, but fun series, great game 1. So we'll continue. What up, James? How are you? Thanks for joining. All right, let's talk some NFL, Ron. That was some great NBA start here. If you are joining us live, please join the chat. Let us know what you think about it.
This shot is ridiculous. I'm going to hate to see these graphics go away.
But let's talk about your favorite guy ever in the NFL.
My favorite guy. I can't stomach this guy.
Aaron Rodgers. He's finally signed a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Does it make sense? Does it make them better, Ron? Does this deal make the Pittsburgh Steelers better?
I mean, who is going to be their starter?
We were looking at Mason Rudolph or Skylar Thompson.
Right. So, yes, it makes them better.
So, technically, yes, I agree with you there. That's the obvious answer, yes.
Does it make them a Super Bowl contender? No. I don't think so. Look, the proof is in the pudding, right?
We love pudding.
Do I think Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time? No. Do I think he's one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time? Yes. Last year? No.
Yeah, last year, not.
That's what we're going to get is a lot from last year.
So it looks
I
like
don't think he has the weapons like he did last year.
Well, DK Metcalf's a very good, another above 500 for a first round playoff loss. James, you couldn't have said it better because I started to look at something. And I said, to your point, Ron, the obvious answer, yes, it makes them better because on paper, the two quarterbacks they had, not very good. But again, here we go with a guy making the process all about him, which Aaron Rodgers seems to do every single year. So how invested is he in this season? 1 year, less than $20 million. He doesn't need the money. Went 5-12 last year with the Jets. 63% completion percentage, almost 4,000 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. You say not a bad year. but he was a thorn in the side of that organization and everything that happened. He hasn't been in the playoffs, Ron, since 2021 with Green Bay. His playoff career record is 11-10. He's one game over 500 in the postseason.
He's not Tom Brady, is what you're saying.
Yeah, not even close. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 5 years and haven't been to the conference championship since 2016. That's 9 years. This guy's not getting you there. This guy is a first-round quarterback in the postseason, which is where you're at. So Mike Tomlin, the fact that you let this guy handcuff you for all these months to basically get a guy that can't win in the postseason anyway made no sense. So it makes him better early, but later on, I think to James's point, they're out. They're going to get over 500 because I think he has better talent. The defense is far superior in Pittsburgh than it was with New York, so that helps. He's got a weapon in DK Metcalf, but again, their offense is based more on running anyway. So you take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. I just don't like the fact that, again, he did it again. It's about me.
Yeah.
What do I want? What are you? You're going to wait for me. Oh, thank goodness now you're going to be in OTAs or mandatory training camp. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo.
He might get hurt on the first series.
I hope he blows his Achilles too. And I hate saying that about it. But this guy to me is just a piece of garbage. He's been for so many years.
He's productive. He's
lost something.
Counterproductive for a team.
I listen. We love Michael Jordan. We've never discounted that. We think he's the greatest basketball player of all time. You know where I didn't like Michael Jordan? With the Wizards, because he wasn't Michael Jordan. He was good. He had some talent. He had some games, but he wasn't Michael Jordan. Everybody keeps going about Aaron Rodgers like it was Aaron Rodgers from 2010 when he got to the Super Bowl. He's not even close anymore. He's not the same quarterback. This to me is just saying, oh, we're going to put a Band-Aid because the two guys we have, we may not have gotten to 500. This guy at least gets us to 500, maybe a little better.
I fear that he is a coach killer. And that Mike Tomlin is probably in the worst position that he's ever been in. And he's had, a lot of players leave because the team just won't pay them. Now, here is the problem with this. We all know that Aaron Rodgers is a first round out kind of player. If they make the playoffs, and you got to wonder if they will, because if Cincinnati gets their heads out of their butts and actually starts trying from game one, Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs. So if they don't make the playoffs, that is what I'm expecting. And to go further, if they do and they go out in the first round, like I expect them to, he's going to get Mike Tomlin fired because of it.
Yeah, I think Tomlin's on a hot seat. I listen, you can sit back and say he's never had a losing record. That's great. 5 years, first round playoffs and out. You haven't been to a conference championship in almost 10 years.
But when
like
is
at
this
some
team?
point, too, like you got to look at Tomlin and say, is he a coach that could get you to the promised land again? I don't know.
In my book, he is. And I'll tell you why. When has this team ever seen, oh, well, you know what? We were in first place, and then lost in the first round. Maybe we'll take a dive and we'll get the players that we need this coming season to put us over the top. They've never done that. In fact, they go the opposite way and let people walk.
But then you can discredit what you're saying and say they went after DK Metcalf, signed him, went after Aaron Rodgers, signed him. Right? So they're making moves. I just think that...
Yeah, this is the first time.
Again, do you look at it and say, though, is it enough? Is he enough? Is Aaron Rodgers enough now to get Mike Tomlin into the conference AFC conference game. I don't think
Rodgers
so.
isn't good enough. See, you're making the signings. You're still not giving yourself the best chance to win with a quarterback that can't get you there. And I don't care what anybody says. Aaron Rodgers is overrated, which is another thing that I don't like about the NBA asking players that. That's just unclassy.
Yeah, it is. It is a weird thing to vote for, but I don't know.
Look, I don't think he's as good as everybody hypes him up to be. I really don't. It makes you wonder who was really good when he did win that Super Bowl. Who was on that team that put them over the top? I don't think it was Aaron Rodgers that put him over the top. I think it was other players.
Oh, he had a very good team in Green Bay the 1 year. But again, 2010. I don't know.
15 years ago. Most players don't even play 15 years.
Yeah, look, he's 11-10 all time in the postseason is clear indication to me. He had Jordy Nelson. You know what I mean? Like, again, I think they just I think Pittsburgh.
I think they're in trouble.
I think they actually tucked it between their legs and cowered out. I do. I'm sorry. This is the only way. They didn't need this guy.
Matthews.
Yeah, but they're so worried about not making it and not that over 500 record that they decided to do this. And I would have been a month or two ago saying, you know what, if you can't make a decision, thanks for even considering us, but good luck. Because I guarantee there was no other offers for Aaron Rodgers out there. So he just decided to see if anybody else was going to make a move. And nobody was biting. And he said, oh, you know what, I might as well. That's what that was.
You know who I think they should have went after? What's his face that from Minnesota just signed? Oh my God, I can't even take
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. That's who they should have went after.
Yeah.
Look, I know you're gonna say, but if you need a guy that's going to be there for the next year or two, that would have been the choice I made. Not Aaron Rodgers. And then, if you don't have enough pieces, then you draft your quarterback next season, which is what I think Pittsburgh's planning on doing because it's a better class.
All right. We'll see again how this works out. But let's move on to our starting five. All right, our starting five. Let's stick with these Pittsburgh Steelers and their all-time quarterbacks. Now that they've got Aaron Rodgers, would he be on this list? Probably not. We'll see.
Well, he hasn't played, so no.
Yeah. So next year we could see. We'll do it again. We'll see if he's on there. But we're going to give you our starting five Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks of all time. I am first this week, so I will start you off with my honorable mention. I only have one, and he still had a losing record, but I'm going to give it to him because I liked him. Bubby Brister. I put Bubby Brister on my honorable mention. That's it. That's all you're getting tonight.
Well,
if you got five, if you got 10 quarterbacks on this list,
I don't have any honorable mentions at all.
I was going to say, yeah, because you were stretching it then.
Like, I mean, if you are putting Bubby Brister in there, then you have to include Tommy Maddox because they're basically the same guy.
Hey.
They have the same numbers.
Tommy Maddox. All right. So
I have none.
All right. Let's start off in our with our number five, and I have Bobby Lane. Back in the day,
we might have the same.
Probably 27 wins. He won a Pro Bowl. Bobby Lane did not win a championship with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I have at number 5 Bobby Lane as well. 27-19 with 2 draws. 49.2 completion percentage is just dreadful. dreadful. He's not even completing half of his passes.
I mean, it was in the 40s and 50s.
I don't care. I
Come
don't
on.
care.
I didn't throw the ball. James, I think you may be right on who's number one, but I'm sorry, buddy. That's what happens. All right. So let's go. Number 4, Ron. The original Cordell Stewart, 48 wins, 1 Pro Bowl, 2 playoff wins. I went with Cordell Stewart at number 4.
Yeah, I have Cordell Stewart as well. 48 and 29. Hey, that's pretty good though. His numbers kind of stink, but
Didn't get a Pro Bowl. Didn't win
70
2
touchdowns
and
and 72 interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, not very good.
Not good.
All right, at number 3, Ron, I had Neil O'Donnell, 39 wins, 1 Pro Bowl, 3 playoff wins.
Yeah, I got Neil O'Donnell as well. This is looking like a Pittsburgh circus more than a Steeler. 39 and 22, that's pretty good. 57.1 completion percentage over 12,000 yards, almost 13, 6.9 yards per attempt. 68 touchdowns, 39 interceptions, a Pro Bowl. I mean, these aren't bad numbers.
Yeah. And he did get to a Super Bowl. Didn't they lose one to Dallas in the 90s? I believe so.
Yes,
yeah. That was the one.
Listen, I was at Daytona Beach, right on the beach. In the penthouse room, right at the top floor, with a bunch of friends that weekend. It was so fun, and we watched the Super Bowl that weekend, and it was Dallas, Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
it was such a great weekend. That was fun.
Was that Larry Brown? Was the MVP of that Super Bowl? Was it Larry Brown?
I believe so.
The cornerback. So. He got the 2 picks against Neil O'Donnell, who basically he would have been the biggest GOAT because the balls literally went right to. It was like Neil O'Donnell was. Yep. That was the receiver. But yeah.
Larry Brown played his butt off that
one game, and then he got paid and he stunk. All right, so far so good. At number 2, I had Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw, most playoff wins in Pittsburgh Steelers history with 14. He was a 3-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All-Pro, a 1-time MVP, 4 championships, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, the original TB12. Yes, James. I had it number 2.
I also had Bradshaw at number 2. Now, as a person, probably a whole lot better of a person than what our number 1 is going to be. Terry Bradshaw, look, he had a great team. I mean, let's be honest. He was good.
James wants
but when you look at those, when you start analyzing those numbers, 212 touchdowns, 210 interceptions, that's just not good enough for me. And I know, look, all those passing yards and stuff, but it wasn't just Terry Bradshaw. I'm sorry, but if Ben had that team, he would win 4 Super Bowls with that team.
Curtin,
maybe 5.
Lynn Swan.
Yes.
Insane. Some of the best wide receivers ever. Franco Harris. I mean, they were stacked. That was a stacked team.
They were stacked.
All right.
So number 1
is Ben Roethlisberger. Most wins in Pittsburgh Steelers history with 165. Most passing yards, 64,088 yards. 418 touchdowns, most in Steelers history. 6-time Pro Bowler, 3 more than Terry Bradshaw. He didn't win an All-Pro, but again, you're dealing with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You were never going to get one.
Yep.
He did win Rookie of the Year, and he had 2-time champion. So I went Ben Roethlisberger. Even if I don't like him as a person, he was Pittsburgh Steelers' best all-time quarterback.
Yeah. Look, when you look at these numbers, 64.4 completion percentage, number 1, right? Obviously, the yards. Obviously, the touchdowns. Yards per attempt, 7.6. The only one that had more was Bobby Lane. Go figure. 7.8 for Bobby Lane.
Right, because they didn't throw. If you throw less passes, you can probably have more
passes.
Right.
So, and you said no all pros, but not only did you have Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, you also had Drew Brees in the league as well. I mean, there was a lot of good quarterbacks back then, and I believe did he catch the tail end of Elway?
No,
I'm
I
not
don't think
sure
so.
if he did or not. It might have been a little after that.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you have those guys that are winning all pros.
Yeah, so
You're
the
not going
funny
to get
thing,
one.
and I was thinking about this, Ron, as we made this list, right? Pittsburgh Steelers won 6 championships, right? They're tied for the most in NFL history. And I said, you really think about when the NFL says if you don't get the quarterback right, you don't win. And it's pretty evident because I was thinking about this with New England. If we did a New England Patriots list, we'd probably be tough to find 2 through 5 to rank, right? And if you think about it with Pittsburgh, Terry Bradshaw, even though he had a stacked team, was a very good quarterback, good enough to win championships.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger, good enough to win championships. Dallas in the 90s, Troy Aikman, good enough to win championships. Joe Montana, 49ers. But then if you rank all their other quarterbacks, this is why these teams don't win. You got to have a guy.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh had 2 of them because realistically.
And that's it. That's all they had was 2 of them.
But they got 6, right?
Yeah, you look at every team. We go through every single team, and they all have one thing in common. They win championships because of those quarterbacks. Of course, there's always the odd man, Dofer, stuff like that, Flacco. Those aren't, the greats, but, look, Miami had Dan Marino, and they couldn't win one with him.
Yeah, but I will say this too, Ron. Like, even if you say the Flaccos, the Trent Dilfers, they only won 1.
Yeah.
Right? Because those guys weren't good enough to
I think that's where I was going with that, and I went astray somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have the guy, you're going to get multiple.
Yes.
Tony Romo, I have better than Aikman. I'm not saying like stat-wise, but Tony Romo couldn't win the big games. Like in the playoffs, he made the mistakes. He had the errors that didn't. So
you see, I don't have Romo better than Aikman because Aikman showed that he can win championships. And yes, he had a great team. I get it.
Phenomenal.
I get it. But, if you're not winning a championship, you're not on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not. Well, you'll be on the list, but you won't be as high as Aikman.
Right.
All right, Ron. Great list. Right. True. Aikman had the clutch. Yeah, that's what matters. When you make plays in the postseason, James, right?
It's like
that's what gets these guys multiple championships. That's what got Tom multiple championships. He made plays when it mattered the most.
Yes.
We could dislike Ben Roethlisberger, but in those 2 Super Bowls, he made plays when they needed it the most. Again, we said Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana. These guys made plays when it mattered the most. And
that's how you win multiple championships.
Yeah.
And this is why I get infuriated when they put Rodgers in the conversation.
I think that was one of my favorite stories of all time with the Joe Montana, and he was in the huddle, and they were in the Super Bowl. And they said, during the huddle, he's like, hey, look, John Candy's in the front row. Right. And it was like, he's playing in the Super Bowl to win a championship. And he was more excited that John Candy was in the front row because those guys didn't feel the pressure. And those are the quarterbacks that continuously win. All right. Great talk there. Great list. Continue the chat because we're going to talk some NBA again. And we're going to talk about the New York Knicks. They fired Tom Thibodeau after losing in the Eastern Conference Finals. Do you think he deserved it?
He looks upset.
He always looked like that, though. I don't think that guy ever smiled. Ever.
Look, we had this conversation last week. And the more I think about it, the more I think the Knicks got this wrong.
Agreed. I'm glad.
Because when you look at how they played through the whole season, and then how they played in the playoffs. Basically, he did the same things that he normally did for the most part. He went with the core guys that got him there through the season, and when you're about to lose, you have to make an adjustment. And he tried putting different guys out there, and they played well, but it just didn't click.
Ron, your team.
And,
go ahead. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
No, so what I'm saying is, like, you can't fault him for losing when the players didn't perform in one series like they did previously. And there is a reason for that, because Indiana didn't let them play like that. You got to credit Indiana in this case.
I'm going to ask you this question, Ron. When was the last time the Knicks organization was in the Eastern Conference Finals? Do you know?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you just had a successful season.
25 years. 25 years. You're on the cusp. You're there. You are so close. And he has a style, regardless if you like it or not, that has seemed to get that team to play better. And you've reached now the Eastern Conference Finals, for now to blow it all up and try to start again. Absolutely the dumbest decision the New York Knicks organization could have done, because you're going to start back at square one. Yeah. And why would you want to go backwards when you have a coach that's already proven he can get you there?
To me, it just showed that they're one player away. One player. And you run it back with those guys. You go out, you get that one player, no matter who it was, obviously somebody defensively.
So this is my point, too. When you talk about general managers and building a team, and I don't know who the general manager of the Knicks is, I really don't care. My point would be is this. Tom Thibodeau is known as a defensive coach. Defensive-minded coach. Loves playing defense, would rather have you score 90 points but hold the team to 85. That's Tom Thibodeau. Jalen Brunson's your best player. Is he a defensive player? Absolutely not. Good player, very good player, but not a defensive player. Then you get him the cat, right? You get him the big cat, not a defensive player. You didn't build a team around him and what his strengths are to ultimately help him shut a team down like Indiana. He couldn't do it because Indiana could expose him.
The biggest adjustment that they could have used is a guy to cover Halliburton in place of Brunson. I hate to say it. That's what lost them this series.
No, listen, Ron, they shouldn't have gotten past Boston. Boston just thought they were going to walk into that series. Boston had 2 20-point leads. New York wouldn't have been in the Eastern Conference Finals because, again, those guys couldn't defend. Boston just blew it because they played horrible offensive basketball. But now you start to look at it and go, okay, well, if I'm going to get a coach, I want to get his strengths, not get guys that are going to score, because that's not what he's known for. And I think the organization screwed up there. They blame Tibbs for it. Okay, fine. 5 seasons with the New York Knicks, 226 wins, 174 losses, 56 winning percentage. Pretty good considering the Eastern Conference is always pretty tough. 24-23 in the playoffs, still over 500. So this is the rumors, Ron. They're going to ask Dallas for permission to talk to Jason Kidd. Again, Jason Kidd, good coach, got Dallas to the finals last year. But does that make the New York Knicks better? I don't think so. I don't see that. Ime Udoka, Houston, they're going to also ask Houston. Pretty much Houston has said that's a no-go. They're not going to give him permission to talk to them.
Why would they?
So then here's the other options. These are unemployed coaches right now that were just recently fired. Taylor Jenkins of the Grizzlies. Okay, coach. Nothing exciting. Better than Tibbs? I don't think so. Mike Malone of the Nuggets. Very good coach, but you saw the breakdown in Denver and kind of some of that. He doesn't like playing the young kids. I guess that's what ended up happening, where they felt like he wasn't going to play any of the younger kids, and that caused problems. Mike Brown of the Kings. Again, good coach. Better than Tibbs? I don't think so. Frank Vogel, not even in basketball last year, last coach the Suns, we saw what that mess was with KD. And then Mike Budenholzer, who just got fired from the Suns because we saw what mess that was, and they had talent. So again, I don't think they're going to upgrade at all. And any of the coaches, even if they could get Jason Kidd, I don't think is that drastic of a jump from Tom Thibodeau.
No jump. There's no jump. You're talking about guys that just like everybody else. I'm sorry. This was just dumb on the Knicks' part. You could even go as far as saying they didn't have enough talent, to go beat Boston, right? But also, look, they didn't have an easy first round.
James, they already said that they're going to go with at least a coach with experience and hopefully a winning. So that's
what Don Sweeney said.
Yeah. I mean, they may be out of options at some point, but I don't think they're going college coach, especially in New York.
I don't know. I just don't.
You throw a name out there that is rumored. I can't see him making the jump back to the NBA, but Rick Pitino, he already said he's not interested, but you never know. You never know. Rick Pitino. Now that, to me, interesting. Pitino in New York again, like a last run, I don't know.
I mean, if that was the guy that you go and get, then I can understand it. But to me, this seems like the Knicks already had a plan in place and they're just waiting for the season to end to make it official.
We should try to get Tibbs on. I'm going to reach out to him. You know, he's from New Brighton, Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah. New Brighton, Connecticut.
Let's try to get him on.
We should try to get Tibbs. I'm going to try to get Tibbs on because I'd love to talk to Tibbs. Maybe we'll get him to smile. We can try that. I think he got a raw deal out of this, but
I think so. I think the Knicks was stupid, to be honest.
I think they're going to take a step back next year.
Oh, in fact, they could take a big step back. I think they might have to do a play-in because from what I saw from Detroit,
up and coming, without a doubt. Detroit could have won that series. They could have. All right, Ron. Great NBA talk. Let's talk some Major League Baseball. Big weekend this weekend. We're so excited, right? Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees kicking off tonight. Why are people not excited about this anymore?
Because the Red Sox suck.
Yeah, but I thought about this, Ron, and I was going to go a different route. Yeah, so the Red Sox are in fourth place, 30 and 34. Yankees in first, 38 and 23. This is why sports has always been great, though, because you have those rivalries. The Lakers and the Celtics have been a rivalry for since the 80s, right? And even when those teams were bad in the 90s, you still beat LA. They hate Boston. It's always a thing. This rivalry is the greatest rivalry in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah.
I don't know why we wouldn't be excited about just continuing to live that out and see what the next chapter is.
This is what's the Red Sox World Series, right?
Yeah. What's the next chapter, right? For both of these. If Boston wins 2 of 3, you feel a little better about it. What if they sweep? You feel a little better about them, right? If the Yankees sweep, you're going to be like, here we go again. The same old Red Sox for the last few years. But that's what makes this rivalry interesting because both of these teams live off of what happens when they face each other, even when they stink.
Yeah, no, it's true. As long as we beat the Yankees, that's all that matters. That's what it is.
Right? So
that's the feeling you get.
And you know the funny thing, right? You always said the evil empire for New York, right? The evil empire, here we come. I thought about this. You got Judge versus Devers now. And Devers is kind of playing that heel role, right? Like now you look at him as the bad guy in kind of like, okay.
You point your fingers, there's the bad guy.
Yeah, you want to see the bad guy? I'll show you the bad guy. Right? You need a bad guy like me. But Judge Devers now, like you get that rivalry because to me, it's like you got this guy that everybody thinks, you said it, you would love to have on your team because of who he is, how he plays, and just his personality. And now you got the Red Sox guys that you're going, whoa, I don't want that guy on my team. And that used to be the old way. You'd want no Yankee on the Red Sox. And it was like these guys are. So there's so many dynamics that are still there for this series for people to be excited about. And it's sad that it's not being hyped up like it used to be. ESPN should have put on this long thing about, holy crap, that rivalry's still here. Like, bring it back and show people, like, this is what baseball's still about.
So this couldn't happen at the worst time for the Red Sox Yankees. And look, we got the series this weekend. So, all right, I want to watch this, right? Oh, but tonight the Stanley Cup is going, and that's much better. All right, not tomorrow, Sunday.
You got the NBA.
I got to watch the second game of that Indiana OKC series. So you're not going to watch it.
But that's Major League Baseball, not hyping it up. They should be hyping this up. Greatest rivalry.
This is what I say about baseball all the time. They don't market very well. Like when Trout was the guy, right?
You know what they
Would
need?
you see him on commercials? No.
But that's why they need steroids again, because chicks dig the long ball. That was a great commercial. Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux trying to hit home runs because they were like, chicks dig the long ball. But that's when they were creative.
But see, that's when
they were creative. And they should do that now with this. Like, they should be showing like an old clip of Babe Ruth and whoever from the Red Sox and being like, if you were alive then to see this, right? Look at the new stars, Judge, Devers, right? And look at these two guys go at it.
No, why didn't they promote it like with Joe and Dom DiMaggio? Joe on the Yankees, Dom on the Red Sox. Something. But they don't know how to market. All they do in a commercial is they just show some clips of a game, and it's like, oh, watch Red Sox Yankees. That's it.
Yay.
Like, why are you not trying to market this? Why are you not?
We just marketed Major League Baseball, Ron. We got it. We're good.
But it's true what we're saying. Like, look, even NHL markets their guys. Like, how many commercials do you see freaking Pasternak in? Connor McDavid.
You got to be excited.
They're
about
all
this
in
series.
Commercials.
You got to be excited about this series. I don't care what you say, Ron, because if the Red Sox sweep, you feel a lot better about this.
Oh, hell yeah.
And if they lose, you feel a lot worse about it. So this game,
if they lose, I'm watching Kansas City.
But this series matters. It matters. And like, people, I don't know why it's not a bigger thing anymore.
Because baseball is hurting.
And the Red Sox aren't like, holy cow, they've only won 10 games and the worst team in Major League Baseball. They're a little under 500. They're still competitive at times.
Are they?
They are 30 and 34. I mean, they've won 30 games.
Wow. Remember when they were in second place?
Yeah, it was a little while ago, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But if you're watching us now, check out it starts 7:00 tonight. Yankees.
Watch it after we're done.
Yes. Or watch it with us.
No during.
Don't do it during? No during? Okay.
No.
All right, Ron.
I tell people to watch the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight.
All right. Let us move on to our split decisions.
It's time for split decisions.
All right, Ron, our split decision segment, basically we give each other two more likely scenarios and we have to make a decision. I am first, so I will start us off with your first split decision, and it is, which goalie, Ron, will have a better save percentage by the end of the Stanley Cups? Sergei Bobrovsky, who's at 91.3 after game one, or Stuart Skinner, who's at 90. .906 save percentage. Who's going to end up with the
That's an
better
easy
save
one.
percentage?
Bobrovsky will have the best save percentage.
I don't know, though, because he's going to face a lot more shots.
He'll still save the same amount. You know, if you're giving up quality chances, though, there's only so many he can do in a row. So I'm going to go with Bobrovsky. He is going to have the better numbers. He might not necessarily have the more wins.
Okay. All right. Well, interesting. All right. And if you are live right now and you want to give us a split decision, just put it in the chat and we will definitely answer that as well. All right, Ron. So you're saying Bobrovsky based on the fact that you think they're going to win the series is what I'm hearing. But
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your first split decision.
Okay, Simi, we just talked about baseball. Who is more likely to hit the first home run of the weekend series? Aaron Judge or Rafael Devers?
I almost asked you that. That was almost going to be mine, by the way. And I said, nah, I won't do it. Who's pitching tonight? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh, let me see. Now that's that might make the difference. Yeah, because to be honest with you, if it's nobody good.
It's nobody good? What's the pitching matchup?
I know, I'm checking it right now. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. It is tonight. Yankees, where are you? Boston. Walker Buehler versus Will Warren. Ooh. I'm gonna go Devers here. I
like my odds in that one.
Yeah, Will Warren didn't have a good outing against the Dodgers the other night.
No, well, Buehler gave up like 6-7 runs last outing.
Either one, but I'm gonna go with Devers on this one. I still don't think they win the series, but I think Devers gets a home run. Might come tonight. That means you must have Fried in here coming up. All right.
Afraid to think of that.
You're afraid to think of that? That was good. That was a good one. All right, Ron. Which Boston Celtics free agent is more likely to return to the team next season? Al Horford or Luke Cornett?
Oh. See, oddly enough, I think both of them.
It's not an answer.
That is not an easy one. I'm going to say Al Horford.
I think Luke Cornett's going to get paid. He's going somewhere else.
Oh, my God. I hope not. I love Luke.
You know who his father is?
The paper towel guy?
No, Darth Vader. Luke's father. Come on.
Like, isn't Cornette a name of a paper towel?
Isn't it? Wasn't it an old car too back in the day? Didn't they have the Cornette?
I don't know. But look, even though they lost the series against New York, Luke Cornett was just magnificent in that series. Oh my God, that day when he had all those blocks, it was just insane. And it's I know they won that game, but I would like them to keep him. I'm not saying he should be a starter by no means.
I don't think they do. I think you're right.
But I think Al Horford.
Al probably,
I think he's going to be a player
decides
coach.
One more year. I think Al might come back for one more year.
I think he's going to be a player coach.
He could retire. I think Cornette gets paid. I think you see both of them probably not there. But if it was more likely, I'd say Al Horford. But all right, Ron, your second split decision.
That was a good one. Because I'd like to see them both stay.
Yeah, agree. But we know there's going to be a lot of changes.
To keep the stability.
Yeah, a lot of changes in Boston. Get ready, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't looking at the same. Robert Parrish and Larry Bird aren't walking through the door. Rick Pitino, 2 references today. Wow. You never see that on Sports Unfolded.
All right, Eric. You ready for this one?
Oh, boy.
Who is more likely to win game 2? The Florida Panthers or the OKC Thunder?
This isn't fair because these are both on our predictions, so I go anyway. Who's more likely, though, to win? Believe it or not, we talked about talent.
I'm walking on air.
Oh, I love that. Greatest American Hero. That was a great show. It was
that.
only on for like 2 seasons, though, which is crazy to think about. If I was going to, honestly, we talked about talent, OKC by far, I think, is more talented than the Indiana Pacers. I think the Edmonton Oilers have more talent offensively than Florida, offensively. So I would say it's more likely that OKC could beat Indiana than Florida beating Edmonton. So I would go OKC.
It's a tough one, huh?
It is, but I do think that I could see Edmonton scoring 7 goals. I'm not saying they will, but you could see it too, just based off of Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, like Kane. They've had some offensive firepower. If OKC just shoots in the 45 to 50 range, they probably win.
All right, let me ask you this, because I was tossing around the different ways.
Is this a third split decision? Because like I did last week?
It's like a third one.
Let's do this.
So who is more likely to win on the road in game 2? Florida Panthers or Indiana Pacers?
Ooh, now that's I would go Florida on that one. See, now I would change it to Florida because Florida with the experience.
Right, that's why
winning it all, I would go Florida.
You know, this twist, I mean, you could do who's more likely to win at home in game 2. Like, there's so many different angles to look at this, and that's what's so fascinating about these matchups.
I would go Florida on that one. So I agree with you there. That was good. I like the little twist there. That was pretty good, buddy. That deserves another one. All right. Not bad. Let's talk some NHL. Edmonton Oilers take game 1 in overtime to go up 1-0 against
I put that in a perfect spot.
Florida Panthers. That's a high stick, bro. That's a penalty. What's the outlook for the rest of this series, Ron?
Looks like he broke it just to stab you with it.
I think he did. It's messed up. What have I done? I didn't do it.
You know when you used to sharpen a stick on a rock?
Yeah.
I think that's what he did here.
Yeah. Back in my caveman days, yes. I was a pretty big sharpening a stick on a rock guy. But anyway, I'll look on this series. What do you think?
What a game 1. Look, these
Florida
teams are so good.
We talked about OKC, right? And blowing that lead. Florida's got to be concerned too, though, because
3-1.
You had that lead.
Yeah. And they let it go. And it is concerning because you can't play like that against this Edmonton team because they can hurt you in so many ways offensively. And I know Bobrovsky is a better goaltender than Stuart Skinner. I know this, right? But if you're not going to have the constant pressure on Stuart Skinner, you're going to have a long, nervous night.
46 to 32 shots in game 1.
Yeah, and that's a lot of shots. Look, 32 is a good amount of shots.
Yeah, but 46.
You should score at least 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
And they did. They had 3. But you can't give up that many shots to Edmonton.
And that's where I say, we talk about legacy. And Connor McDavid getting there last year.
Yeah.
Winning the Conn Smythe even as the loser. It's not enough. He knows he needs to win. And that's what would scare me if I'm Florida. Because I think you've got a guy right now that knows his legacy is going to matter based on what happens in this series now. Because we don't know how many other opportunities you're going to get. You're going back to back. If you lose both of these to Florida, it kind of you said it early with the NFL, Dan Marino. we still consider one of the best passes of all time to never win a championship.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid might be the best guy in skates to
Yeah.
never win one if he doesn't get this opportunity now and take it.
And he might not have many opportunities after this.
Draisaitl might, right? Like their team's going to break up at some point.
You know, look, this is very, very simple. I remember us talking about this last week, and I gave you 3 guys that has to play out of their mind in order for Edmonton to win. The first one I mentioned was Trent Frederick. That's what he was sent there for, so that way they don't get bullied. Last year, they didn't have Kane in the lineup. He's there now, and he was a major impact in that game, in the first game of the series. And then Seth Jones was the third guy that I mentioned, and he was, great for Florida, but he wasn't enough to stop the pressure that McDavid and Draisaitl can do. And those are the 3 keys, 2 for Edmonton, 1 for Florida. It wasn't enough. Forsling, one of the best defensemen in the league, he got beat by Bouchard, a defenseman. 1-on-1. This is a problem for Florida. It's that old, leak in the dam that through time it gets worse and worse, and then boom, it busts. I don't think they can stop Edmonton. I don't think they can.
I agree with you. Listen, I don't think the tough guy. I think last year Edmonton kind of just took it on the chin, didn't know how to respond to it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're afraid this year. I think they have a confidence. I think that Dallas series and the way they dominated the Stars was such a big factor, because I think we all picked Dallas. We said, this is the year Dallas. They loaded up. They looked like the team to beat. And Edmonton made it look easy. Like, we've been here. We're not worried about them. We're getting to the Stanley Cup. And now that they're there, Becky, thanks for joining, right? Now that they're there, I truly think that they know, like, we belong here. Last year, I think there was a little hesitancy. I think they thought about it and said, I don't know if we're good enough.
We talked about this for several years, Eric, how Florida just bullies their way through. Well, Edmonton fought back in game 1. They weren't being bullied, and they made it a point to let Florida know, we're not getting bullied. So you can do whatever you want to do, but we have guys here that can take it and dish it out too. And that's right, what Becky. They did. They put it right back onto Florida, and they can't handle it, because I'll tell you, Florida bullies, but when it comes time to put up, they run away. And Tkachuk is so awful with that. I can't stomach him. He's nothing like his father was. His father was a great, tough hockey player. He stood up for himself. He didn't run away. Tkachuk runs away. I can't stomach the guy.
Becky said it right. I don't think they mess it up this year. I mean, she put it a little differently.
No, I don't think so either. And I think it could be a sweep, and they let it get away from him.
Ron, we've watched enough of these 1980s, 90s TV sitcoms, comedies. When you stand up to a bully and you finally throw a punch back, that bully backs away. And I think that's what Edmonton's doing. Go ahead.
Kane was awesome in
try to be tougher than us. Try to hit us harder. Guess what? We'll hit back, and guess what we're also going to do? We're going to put up more shots. And you put up more shots, and you don't let the bully just become a bully, and you punch him back. That bully doesn't know how to respond. Yeah. Offensively, Florida doesn't have enough offensive firepower to match Edmonton's.
Montreal Canadiens, I think it was 27 years ago.
90-something, yeah. The last time. It's been over 20-plus years. Yeah, they said it. Yeah, this is the first time that we could have a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup. I think it's 27, 28 years.
Oh, it's going to happen. Look, I just, after what I saw from Edmonton, there's no doubt in my mind right now. No doubt.
Okay. All right. So don't even have to tune in to game 2. See, you just ruined it for everybody.
No, I want to see it happen. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to go 7.
I don't know. The way you made it sound.
But they should be having the cup hoisted in Edmonton for sure.
Last time, 1993.
Yeah.
93.
Yeah.
93, the Canadians. It's the last time. Yeah. Crazy.
Well,
Crazy.
all streaks come to an end.
1990. And Becky's in Canada, so you might be able to celebrate here, you Edmonton Oilers. Right? Get to celebrate.
She's in Alberta.
Should do a show live for Going On Daily while the parade.
Oh, with the parade, that would be pretty awesome.
Oof. Oof. All right, Ron.
Eh? Pretty awesome, eh?
I'm not doing it. What was that? This Strange Brew, right? Strange Brew.
Yeah.
That
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah.
Do you remember the song?
They did a big commercial too.
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah.
Do you remember the song they had? You know, back then they actually released a song and it was a big hit for them. Take Off.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Google
when you
the
get a
Moss
chance,
Pit.
listen to that song. It's so fun. It's such a
All
great
right.
song.
Becky's giving us all the spots to go for the Edmonton parade. She already locked in.
Yep, the Moss Pit.
Wow. Okay. All right. You should go to the watch party, Becky. I mean, you don't get how many times? It's been 27 years. 27 years?
Yeah.
No,
Think
30.
about when they won it
I
last.
do my math
week.
right. 93. That would be 32 years, right? 32.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a squad
years.
now.
32
And-
years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
She should go. Go, Becky. Do it up.
I
All
like
right.
a lot of their players.
Let's continue this NHL talk with the Boston Bruins, your favorite. They have hired Marco Sturm as their head coach. Your thoughts on his hire?
I mean, it's not the glamour pick, that I wanted maybe Mark Sullivan, somebody that has Stanley Cup pedigree because, and I quote, Don Sweeney was going to sign a whole bunch of people this year and they were going for it again.
Okay.
Now, what this tells me is that they're really not going to do that. And they're going to just bring up all these kids and they're going to play all these kids. That's what this is telling me.
So, Ron, he has won at a professional level. So he did win the 2008. Well, not win. Let me rephrase that. Came in second in the Olympics in 2018 with Germany, won the silver medal. Has coached as an assistant in the NHL with the Los Angeles Kings and has recently been coaching the Ontario Reign, the AHL team, 119 and 80, 3 straight playoff appearances. So he seems to at least be able to get his team.
Like I said, he's got a resume that is pretty impressive, so I'm not completely disappointed because I mean, look, when you get some NHL coaches that just kind of like float around and haven't really won anything in a long time, then okay, let's give this a shot. Like, I don't mind it. I just know that, Marco Stern will do a good job. He'll do a good job. The question is Don Sweeney going to do the good job and put some bodies in here that they need to get? Because clearly they weren't competitive enough. They weren't competitive enough for the NHL after the deadline. They were pretty bad.
And Becky busted out a 2 Live Crew reference, so I don't know. I could go so many directions here. And I'm not going to do it, Ron. We're a family show. But for all you kids out there, you know what I'm talking about. All right.
I just think that,
can I say this? I like the move in this aspect. Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yes.
And he's been pretty consistent with the teams he's been around. They've won.
Yes.
I think they need to get back to a winning culture in Boston. I think this move helps them there. To your point, the glamour thing, I don't think he had the players anyway, or a coach that would make these players get to another level. I think he's going to make them consistent in winning. And then from there, if Don Sweeney and Cam decide to make some moves that make sense to get a player or two that can ultimately get you to that Stanley Cup again.
What it comes down to, this is what I want from the Bruins. I want Don Sweeney to bring up Patra, Minton, and Lysell and actually give them a chance to succeed. Because I don't want to see Lysell have to play with these scrubs that they had in their lineup last year, like Patrick Brown and all these other guys that are just journeyman minor leaguers. I want a real opportunity for these younger players. They have a lot of skill, those three, and Merkulov as well. There's a lot of skill there. You got to be able to play them with skilled players. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So Marco Sturm has played for the Boston Bruins. He played 5 seasons for the Boston Bruins. Ron, this is going to be an easy one. I think this is probably the easiest do you know in the history of do you knows. Do you remember the player that he was traded for?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Joe Thornton was.
It was correct.
Was the guy.
Joe Thornton went to San Jose.
I was so mad.
San Jose. I think that worked out for San Jose because he played like 17 more seasons. Thornton, so it worked out pretty well. Sturm, not so much.
The best player probably to play that hasn't won a championship.
Yeah. So interesting. All right, Ron. Great NHL talk. Hey, if you're live like Becky was and James has been as well, let us know. What do you think? You like the Bruins hire? I'm pretty interested to see how the fans out there feel about it. But we are going to move on, Ron.
Want him to sign someone.
And we're going to move on to our pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
Episode 23 of Sports Unfolded Season 5. Baby, come back. So 23 years ago, 2002, these players were all major league drafted.
You didn't know the rest of the words, did you?
Oh, I know it.
Okay.
Any kind of fool could see.
There we go. That's what I want to hear.
And everything about you. Baby, come back.
Sing that pretty well.
Great song. I love the player. Do you remember the commercial with the broom? I think it was Swiffer. And Swiffer and the broom's in the corner, and it's like, baby, come back, because they were all picking the Swiffer. Oh, it was a great commercial. The song made it. That song made that commercial.
That was such a great commercial.
It was. These Major League Baseball players were all drafted in 2002 and all became an all-star. Zach Greinke, Prince Fielder, Joe Saunders, Scott Kazmir, Nick Swisher, and Cole Hamels. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. I am first this week, so I will start us off. And every so often when we do these, Ron, we always go with, why is this guy on the list? But he made an all-star. So Joe Saunders at 89 and 86 came in at number 6 for me. A 4.37 ERA, 792 strikeouts, and 1 all-star. All right, buddy.
I don't know how he made an all-star.
Yeah, he made it. That 1 year, he made it all-star.
Wait, did he play for he played for the Cubs, right?
I don't even know who he
So it was a default.
Maybe they had, you know how they got to get one guy. Yeah.
They had to have one player. It's like, who do we get? Let's put Joe in there.
He won 5 games. Throw him in. At number 5, Scott Kazmir, 108 and 97, a 4.02 ERA, 1,618 strikeouts, 3 all-stars. Just didn't do enough for me to warrant him going any higher. At number 4, Nick Swisher, who bounced around, played for a lot of teams.
Nick Swiffer?
Again, baby, come back. There it is again.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it. If I said that, you would sing it again.
It's in my brain now. only batted 249 for his career. 1,338 hits, 245 home runs, 803 runs, 803 RBIs. Made an All-Star, did win a championship, so he went ahead of the other two based on that championship.
He won a World Series though.
He did, but he won a championship. That's what winning a championship means. It's a World Series, but he didn't win a Super Bowl title.
That's what I'm just pointing it out.
I'm making sure you understand. He won a Stanley Cup.
There.
Okay. At number 3, I went Prince Fielder. Batted 283 in his career, 1,645 hits, so nothing that like blew me away. 319 home runs.
That was my Prince.
That was, oh boy. Oh, bro. We got to have you wear.
Rolled over.
Yeah, he did. You should wear a raspberry beret next time.
Oh, I love that song.
You need to wear one of those one time on Sports Unfolded.
Working part-time at the 5 and dime. My boss is Mr. McGee.
862 runs, 1,028 RBIs. 6-time All-Star, though. 3-time Silver Slugger, and won 2 home run derbies. At number 2, I had Cole Hamels, 163 wins, 122 losses, a 3.43 ERA, which was the best of the pitchers on this list. 2,560 strikeouts, so not bad, pretty impressive. 4-time All-Star, 1-time champ. And when he got there, guess what? World Series MVP. You don't see that too often from a starting pitcher because they only usually make 1 or 2 starts, depending on how the series goes. So the fact that he was the World Series MVP, that was impressive to me. But at number 1, this guy racked up some accolades. Zach Greinke, 225 wins, 156 losses, 3.49 ERA, 2,979 strikeouts, so close to 3,000. I would have stuck around for 20. You couldn't get 21 more strikeouts. I would have stuck around just to get to 3,000. 6-time All-Star, 6-time Gold Glove, 1-time Cy Young, a 2-time Silver Slugger as well, and a 2-time ERA champ. So I went Zach Greinke at number 1.
All right. So number 3.
Oof.
Number 3, Mr. 1999 himself, Prince Fielder.
Hey! 1999. 2000.
Look, the other 3 guys just absolutely are train wrecks. I'm sorry. They don't belong on the list. And it had to be because of, being forced to pick somebody from those teams that they get an All-Star.
Casimir was with the Rays, so I'm sure. Yeah, that could have been.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, I had it the same order. Saunders, whatever. Who's the other guy? Casimir and Nick Swiffer.
Baby, come back. Come on.
Nick Swiffer. Look, they suck. I'm sorry, they suck.
Wow.
Ow! Exactly. So Prince Fielder starts off my list at number 3. I mean, he was good for a good, 3-4 years?
I think he was as good as he's probably better than his dad.
I think he was.
Right?
I think so. He certainly hit for a better average, 283 lifetime. Yeah. That's pretty good. I'll take it. 319 home runs, over 1,000 RBI, and 18 stolen bases. He was a barn burner.
Oh, yeah, he can move.
Although he'd probably have 50 this year if he played now.
If you were smart, though, right, what you do is you tell him there's a cheeseburger at second. He would have moved, man. That guy would have been there. Hey, Prince, cheeseburger, go!
Also at number 2 is Cole Hamels. I have the same list, by the way.
Okay.
Cole Hamels.
Not a bad career, Cole Hamels.
3 wins. He's a good pitcher. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I think injuries.
4 All-Stars? Yeah, no, those were legit All-Stars.
Yeah, it was a good career.
He won a World Series, so he did okay. It just the numbers weren't there enough for that World Series to put him over the top for me. Because It's like with baseball, you need more than one guy. And I think with Zach Greinke, most of the teams he played for, he was really the better pitcher on the team. And so, when you play for the Royals, no offense to the Royals, but
That's your new team. What are you talking about? You better not. No offense. After this weekend.
but most of the years they're not expected to win because they don't have enough horses. So, but he was a great pitcher on a bad team most of the time. 225 wins, 156 losses. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Playing for the Royals.
3.49. I mean, these are good numbers. But 21 strikeouts, like you were right.
I would have came back.
If I'm 21 more.
I would have told whatever team, I say, listen, sign me to a 10-day deal. 10-day deal.
Yeah.
I'll pitch twice. I'd probably come close. If not, somebody another 10-day deal. I just want to get to 3,000.
But there's teams out there that didn't have anybody as good as him even when he was ready to retire.
Yeah. Didn't he pitch for the Dodgers, too, though, towards the end of his career?
He pitched for a lot of teams.
Right?
A lot.
Yeah. And he was with Arizona. Yeah. But a good career. Very good career. The Cy Young and the 2 ERAs, again,
the Red Sox tried to get him. And
best pitcher. I think the Yankees, a lot of teams wanted him when he was a free agent.
Yeah.
So, no, definitely. It was, I think that, sometimes these lists.
Half the players are great on the list.
Hey,
the other half, not so much.
I can only do so much. All right, Ron, before we get into our predictions, let's first off welcome to the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, Nolan Ryan. Congratulations. And Yarmir Yager, congratulations. The newest members of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, voted on by the fans.
Well-deserved.
Much well-deserved. There they are on the list now. Congratulations to those fine gentlemen. Check out the Sports Unfolded website where we put up a nice Hall of Fame page with all the accolades.
It's amazing that it took them 2 times to try to get in there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy as well. But I think the competition they faced the first time might have been a little tougher. But again, which means, Ron, we get to induct a new member in the next month. That poll is open right now, and we're starting off with soccer, football. Ronaldo, Zinedine Zidane, Paolo Maldini, Roberto Carlos, and Luis Figo. Portuguese, by the way.
Figaro.
You remember Bugs Bunny when he did it? It was so good. The polls are open right now at the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. Cast your votes now to help us get the next athlete into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame.
These are some of the best of the 90s.
The greatest thing is that all of our inductees are voted on by the fans. So it's really cool to see the fans put these players in. As well, Ron, we have from the National Basketball Association, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wes Unseld, Bob McAdoo, and Willis Reed. This is a tough one. Again, go on to the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page. These polls are up now and open. Cast your vote for the next member of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. We're excited. We've had some great success with this. Fans, you vote, so it's so cool to allow you the opportunity. Pete Rose is in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And you know what? Major League Baseball, after you die, you can possibly get in. We voted him in before he passed away because the fans wanted him in. So take your time. Vote.
Proved me wrong. And you actually changed my mind about him, and then it got reinforced again.
Yeah, whatever. Follow Sports Unfolded. Check out the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook and cast your votes for the next member of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame.
Do it now. What are you waiting for?
Go to the chopper. All right. I don't know why we would go to the chopper, but maybe you want to fuck. No, that's Kobe. That's too soon. All right. Let us get into our predictions and bring those predictions up. Ron.
Wait, is it already prediction time?
It is already prediction time, my
Holy
friend.
mackerel, this show went by fast.
Last week, tied Danny 2-1, only picked on 3 games there. So if you are joining us live, give us your predictions. We will either add you to the chart or add to your numbers. See if you can beat us for a prize. You haven't had to give anything away recently, so that's kind of
No,
cool.
I haven't given anything away for a while.
Everybody stinks. All right, let's see if they can do any better this week. So let's start off, Ron.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
With the NBA.
Let's do that.
This Sunday, the Indiana Pacers at the Oklahoma City Thunder, Game 2. I'm going OKC here. I don't think they let 2 slip. So they're going to win at home and tie this series up. So I went OKC.
Yeah, I'm going OKC too, but it's not confident.
You're not feeling good about it?
I'm not feeling good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that the Thunder don't. James picking the Thunder. I think the Thunder know they need to. They can't go down.
The Thunder rolls, right?
They can't go down. Oh, they can't go down. Mad Max at Thunderdome.
Come on, that wasn't a good one for you?
Could have went Mad Max in the Thunderdome. I mean, you could have went that route too.
Yeah, but
what were those guys?
They're gonna win, so they're gonna roll.
What were the dances from Down Under or whatever? You remember the guys with and they did the dancing. The Australian group there, they danced.
Men at Work?
No, that was good. They were take it to the land down under. We've had a lot of references. What are we doing today, huh? I don't know what was in my drink, but I don't know, my friend. All right.
What was in mine?
Hey. All right. NHL tonight, Ron. Game 2, the Florida Panthers at the Edmonton Oilers. Who do you have?
This is tough. This is tough. Like, I feel like I want to pick Florida, but I'm gonna go Edmonton.
Ooh, all right. I went Florida here. I think they at least they take 1, and then after that, Edmonton takes over. James going Florida as well. All right. Baseball. Tonight starts a 3-game series. The Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees, Ron. I went New York here. Yeah. I don't think Boston.
I'm right there with you.
I mean, New York needs to win this series, really, because they got to get back.
I mean, is there a chance that Cora gets fired by All-Star game?
I don't know, though. With that extension, I think they're going to hold on to him at least this season. Depends on how bad this season goes. Depends on how soon. But, yeah, I think the Yankees take 2 or 3. At least.
See, like I said, he's not cheating enough.
Yeah. Boston gets a bone here. Okay. At least he didn't put the R. I got nervous there for a second.
Like, I think the fans are getting the bone.
Hey! Yo!
They're the ones that are taking it.
And we've gone
Family
south.
show, Eric. Come on.
South. We went south.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
6 on 6-9. The Los Angeles Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. 3-game series.
Okay, never mind. So LA at San Diego. I'm gonna go LA.
I went Dodgers as well. I think there are only 2 games up here. You need to start to get a little bit of a cushion. They need to take this series. It's way too important. This is a playoff series for them. Honestly, I think at this point, believe it or not, in the series, you need to start to create some distance with San Diego. So I went to Dodgers as well.
Hanging around, and you know how that is with teams that hang around. If they hang around long enough, you find them ahead of you.
Yeah, absolutely. James went Dodgers as well. 6-7 tomorrow. You got the Seattle Storm at the Phoenix Mercury. WNBA action. Who do you have?
Is it my Phoenix at home?
Okay, I think. Well, I went Phoenix as well. So, yeah, they're very good at home. I think they only have 1 home loss, Phoenix, so far. But
out of 4 games.
Two undefeated teams though right now in the WNBA. The Liberty 8-0 and the Minnesota Lynx 8-0.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Caitlin Clark injury is going to hurt them a little bit. WNBA.
She got hurt?
Yeah, she was out like 2 weeks. Quad. I think a quad. James went Phoenix. All right. All right. MLS action on Sunday. You got the Seattle Sounders Football Club at the Vancouver Whitecaps Football Club. Vancouver, very good at home run. Seattle, not so good on the road. So I went Vancouver here.
Yeah, I went Vancouver as well. I just think that they're a better team anyway. And I think this team it's going to be one of the teams that contends for, I don't know what the championship is called. Is it a cup?
I think so. I don't know. They got like a mid cup. They do it too. Cuva. James went Cuva. All right, 6-8 this Sunday. Ron, the Firekeepers Casino 400 in Michigan. We need a top 5 driver. We have not done so well the last 2 weeks. I'm going Kevin Harvick here. Kevin Harvick to finish in the top 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really disappointed at my pick, Christopher Bell. I went with him the last 2 weeks, and he hasn't performed.
Yeah, I think your guy was 10 and mine was 11, so that's where we were at last week.
I feel like he's got to snap out of this. So I'm gonna roll with him.
Going Christopher Bell again?
I'm gonna go Christopher Bell. Okay. He's got to come out of it. There's no way he's not going to be top 5 this race.
All right.
No way.
Elliott. James is going with. So Chase Elliott.
So Bell, Harvick.
How are they not do another ET with all the technology now? They remake every damn movie. Do another ET.
How do you go about remaking a Steven Spielberg movie?
I don't think you remake it, but I mean, he redid Star Wars 17 times. High def, not high def, super def. What? Super def, get it? But I mean, I don't know. They're saying they're doing a Spaceballs too, by the way. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. After what I learned last night about Fantastic Four, I'm not seeing that piece of crap.
Oh, man.
I can't. See, you brought up movies, and now I have to.
How do you change? Disney changed Aladdin. That, by far, was a travesty.
You changed Silver Surfer.
The live action of Aladdin was horrible. Although, go see Lilo and Stitch if you haven't seen it. A little bit of a tearjerker, man. I cried, man. I was bawling my eyes out. I'm telling you that right now. Lilo and Stitch.
I was bawling my eyes out.
They did a good job.
Last night after I found out they changed Silver Surfer.
Lilo and Stitch. Great job. All right. This Sunday, Ron, we got some conference championships going on in the UFL. The Michigan Panthers at the Birmingham Stallions. Who do you have? Come on. Come on. What are you talking about?
My Italian Stallions.
Come on.
They're going to come and perform. It is their time.
Come on. The Stallions guy. Come
Forget
on.
about it.
Hey. Luigi.
Yeah, I'm taking the Stallions.
Stallions taking the pastas.
That's right.
Nobody cares about the UFL. They don't know.
I watched it last week.
Although they said, yeah, what is wrong with you, by the way?
I watched it last week.
It's so bad. It's just not that entertaining. Bad. It's not entertaining. And they were saying they got more views than like the NHL. And I'm like, wait a minute.
No, there's no way. There's no way. They didn't get more views than
so in the conference championships, you got the DC Defenders at the St. Louis Battlehawks. I'm going Battlehawks here. 1 loss at home this year. It's all St. Louis. I think I said Seattle. St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah, I'm going St. Louis as well. This was destined to be Stallions and Battlehawks. You know, I think.
Is that a rematch too? I think.
Is it
last year? I think that's last year's championship.
Isn't that a rematch of also game 1 of the season?
He likes to say Hawks.
The Hawks. Battlehawks. So yeah, I'm looking for Stallions and Battlehawks.
All right. That is our prediction segment. James, tune in next week to see how you did. Maybe you win a prize. We only have one different other than the race.
I still have a prize put aside for him, but he hasn't been on. So he actually has a prize that's supposed to come for him.
All right.
But he has to send me a message and send me, his address or something.
Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, I did first have to apologize that I have not mentioned those that have made us successful and continue to expand our brand. 99.1 WDJY FM in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you for putting us on every Saturday.
Cannot believe you haven't said this. It went by so fast.
Eastern Standard Time, as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island, for putting us on at 10 a.m. every Saturday in Providence, Rhode Island. Thank you for the support, as well as SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Thank you for the support as well. We appreciate all those that are helping continue to have us grow. And we're looking to move into other markets as well, hopefully soon. But yes, James, you do have a prize, my friend, so come get that. Yeah, you do. As well, Ron.
Near me too, if I'm not mistaken.
If we don't discuss how everyone could become a sponsor and get your name plastered all over Sports Unfolded, I'd love for you to be able to tell everyone how they can do so if they'd like to.
Okay, so it's very simple. So sponsor the show. Your ad will be here. We will read the ad. So not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. And Eric, like I say all the time, it costs less than going to your local coffee shop. Even if you're in Canada, go into a Timmy's.
They have Tim Hortons, right? Still over there, yeah.
Yes. So it costs less than getting an iced coffee because it's been warm out there today and yesterday. It's been beautiful. Beautiful. It costs less than an iced coffee and a Boston cream donut. Do you get a Boston cream donut in Boston? Or is it just a cream donut?
Yeah, it's always a Boston cream. No matter where you go.
Well, do they call French fries?
In France, something else? France? What do they just call them? American fry?
Like Swedish meatballs. If you're in Sweden, do they just call them meatballs?
I don't know. I think they'd say, that one might be an interesting one. Yeah, that one's an interesting one.
So it's just like that, Eric. So
sponsor the show.
We got a lot of people watching and listening. Look, you could do much worse.
Well over 1,000 followers in Sports Unfolded. Well over almost 10,000 followers with Rhode Island Broadcasting. You're talking thousands of people seeing and hearing about your business every week. Yeah. It's a great investment for your company. So take the opportunity to join our brand as well and help us expand. And like, share, follow all of our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Kick. We are on Kick. We are on MeWe. There are so many different things that we are on. So follow us on all social media platforms. Give yourself an opportunity to join the best sports podcast on the planet every single week on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. As you could see, James tonight, as well as Becky. It's always a good time. We appreciate all of the support and want to talk to more people. So tune in every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Let's go, John.
All right.
Log on and join the show.
All right.
I don't know who John is, though.
There's a John out there, I'm sure.
Frank?
He heard you. Bill? Mary?
Look, I know there's a Tom Brady out there that watches this show. I'm sure of it. Might not be the Tom Brady. But there might be a Tom Brady.
There might be a Tom Brady.
A Thomas Brady.
Yes. That'd be great if somebody joined in one time and said Tom Brady. I don't know. I'd be like, wait, is that the real Tom Brady? Are you the real Tom Brady?
Love that. Hey, I would be promoting that all the time.
But it has been a fun show, Ron. But at the end of our
It's
show,
a great show.
give you our final thoughts. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything happening in the world today. I am first today. So my final thought, we don't talk enough about the good guys. The guys that do things that you kind of say, really?
Well, I want to see that movie.
Right? The Good Guys 2, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Nobody believes they're good guys, though. But Derek Carr decided to retire. And when he decided to retire, he made a decision based on the fact that he didn't want to waste the Saints' money because he knew if he got surgery, he would miss an entire season and wouldn't be able to play. Or if he tried to play through the injury, he wouldn't be 100% and felt like it wasn't worth the organization to have to spend money on somebody that either didn't play or couldn't play at 100%. How many times do you hear an athlete say that? How many times do you see a guy retire instead of just milking it for all it's worth? He lost a $30 million contract. $30 million. I think he got 10 of it back because of some, signing bonus or whatever it may be. But think about that. And he did what was right for the organization. When we talk about team players, team guys, like Derek Carr just moved up on my good guy list because I can't believe that a player would be willing to forfeit that kind of money because it was for the better of the team, right?
Yeah.
So I was really impressed when I read that. Derek Carr, what a remarkable way to end your career in a way that shows that that's what team's about. Sometimes it might not be, just trying to play through, an injury. Sometimes it's saying, hey, you know what? I know I'm not going to be the best player on this team anymore. And it's the best thing for my team that I'm no longer here. So, Derek Carr, good luck on your retirement. Hey, you ever want to join Sports Unfolded? We'd love to have you on as well. So, Derek, enjoy your retirement and great way to go out.
Yeah, it's a great way to drive off into the sunset.
Yeah, I got you with the car. That was good, Ron. You're on fire today. You're just comedy unfolded tonight.
Well, my final thought is as good as it gets. Texas Tech pitcher, Najari Kennedy, just got a $1.2 million contract
I heard about
for next season. This coming after her $1 million for this current season that she's in the World Series for softball. That's pretty incredible, for softball, right? I mean, you think about all the women that are trying to get, fair deals with sports. It's just lopsided. And I get it because of the ticket sales and stuff. That's a big part of, how these people get paid is the attendance. But she's currently at a 0.97 ERA. Clearly the best player. And she, of course, bats in the meat of the order. I believe she bats fourth in the lineup, maybe fifth. But she's signed on for another season at Texas Tech. Now, is this what's causing the influx of softball viewership? Because starting this year, the AUSL, that is Athletes Unlimited Softball League, starts this season, I believe, tomorrow, June 7th, in its first the inaugural season. So there are 4 teams in this league: the Bandits, the Blaze, Talons, and Volts, and they go to 10 different cities to play games for, the first season. There is hope for possibly a long-term league. And I would think next year after college is over, I think she might end up going pro. So there is an opportunity now for softball players to go pro.
That's awesome. That's great. That's great for the sport.
She's fantastic. Have
those
you
girls are
seen it?
really
Oh
good.
my God.
Yeah, those women are amazing sometimes. I did want to bring up one more, Ron, and I apologize, but it's something that I remembered.
Not surprised.
North Salinas High sophomore Clara Adams had her state championship stripped from her because of the celebration where she did the fire extinguisher. Her dad, who's her coach and trainer, this was something that happened in the Olympics, and she was paying homage to the Olympic sprinter. I don't remember his name at this point. It's just skipping my mind. But again, I don't think this was anything that was egregious. It wasn't towards another player or another, you know what I mean, another runner. Give her back her championship. That's an absolute ridiculous reason to take somebody's title away. She was so excited about it. And I'm sure that was in the back of her mind. If I win, like I want to pay homage to him. Maybe it was her idol or whatever it may be. Absolutely joke that they took it away. Whoever's in that, league and running it, whatever.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? Look the other way. That it wasn't towards a player. They said it was the celebration was considered like taunting and what are you talking about? It wasn't towards a player. It wasn't towards somebody else. She just put it on her shoes.
This just goes to show how messed up everything is. You got to take a look at who ends up getting that title, and is there somebody's money behind the decision?
Unsportsmanlike conduct. And again, it's just ridiculous. And I think the Olympic runner that actually she was paying homage to also said that he was just a Maurice Green. That he was he was just honored that she even would do that. But again, I think that they should reconsider taking her championship away. But I just wanted to leave on that. I want to first off thanks James and Becky for joining us live. You guys were amazing tonight. Thank you for the support. Ron, as always, I always have a blast. We had a great show tonight. I appreciate you taking some time. Want to thank those that are going to listen to us out there in Dallas, Georgia, as well as Providence, Rhode Island. Tune in Friday nights at 6 p.m. Check us out so you can join us live as well. Like, share, and follow all of our social media platforms as well. Continue to help us grow. We will be back next Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm sure there'll be just as much sports to talk then. So join us then. Ron, it's been a pleasure tonight. Thank you, my friend. And all we ever ask for every single show is that we get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.